this time.
Make it so.
It's me, Mario!
I'm Batman. Strong am I with the Force.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
You're a wizard, Harry.
And welcome to World War G, episode 141. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
We are not starting with a list this time. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
It's a list modified.
I sent you this article, and then I was just like, don't read this because you love TV shows, and I wanted to see if you could name these episodes. So let me preface this by saying that some TV shows, well, actually quite a few TV shows, go through a lot of different changes, whether it's actors or whether it's like directors, but occasionally they decide to change the name. So here's kind of 12 TV shows with terrible names before they were changed. So I'm going to give you the terrible name, and then you guys can play along at home as well, or wherever you're driving or wherever you're listening to us at, and see if you can guess what it later on became.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
So, number 12. Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah. That's really good. This one says, one of the things everybody can remember about Saved by the Bell is the catchy theme song. The title phrase repeats the lyrics over and over, but not only did the show originally have a different name at one point, the entire season of episodes was made under the title Good Morning, Miss Bliss, until later on changing.
That's true, and in the first season, Zach was not the same person he would be later. Like, he was actually a screw-up. He did everything wrong. He was always busted by the teacher. You know, the whole time stop thing was not a thing. Yeah. So some people have the theory that the rest of Saved by the Bell after season 1 is all happening in Zach's mind.
Really?
Yeah.
That he's this kind of like nerdy, screw-up kid.
Yeah.
And that he's not this cool, charismatic.
No.
Boy.
That after he goes home, after he's saved by the bell and goes home, that he dreams up this whole Bayside thing and how he's Mr. Popular and stuff like that.
Huh.
That's just a theory.
And Screech actually is like way super intelligent, and he's actually
like the
ladies' man. Yeah. That would be awesome. Okay, Seinfeld Chronicles.
Wow. It'd be Seinfeld.
Obvious. Okay, but they changed it, and a lot of people, they were saying that they associated Chronicles with an epic sci-fi fantasy story like Chronicles of Narnia or Chronicles of Riddick.
Right.
And for a show that's that's about nothing, it makes sense that it would kind of have more of a bland title, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Seinfeld Chronicles would kind of infer that there's going to be some sort of narrative linear story,
not just each episode just being day-to-day and random,
Yeah.
happenstance. All right. Alexis, Texas.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This one I don't know off the top of my head. I've heard the name.
It's from
though.
Disney Channel.
Alexis Tech. Oh, Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted a TV show with a rhythmic name and an American state attached to it, and they later on came up with like Hannah Montana.
It's like they couldn't do like Miley, Mississippi, or something like that, or
yeah. Rhonda, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Didn't really roll off the tongue. Okay, the next one is pretty straightforward. That Raymond guy.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty easy. Did you ever like that show or watch it much?
Yeah. I actually watched quite a bit of that show.
Yeah.
I actually have one of the seasons on DVD.
For the life of I can't stand the mom and the whole dynamic between the mom and his wife.
See, that one that one rings true to me. There's a lot of truth in that art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. NBC Saturday Night.
It's got to be Saturday Night Live, right?
Which this is like a staple for you.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just kind of interesting that the majority of these are like NBCs, you know, decided to change them last minute or like later on. Okay. Let's see if you can guess this one.
Okay.
Leave the Bastard and Others.
Oh, All right. Well, he said a lot of them are NBC, but it could be something else. First thing that popped in my mind was like Married with Children.
The Good Wife.
The Good Wife.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with this TV show.
I think that is one where she does end up leaving her husband because I think he cheated on her. I don't know.
Huh.
That's not my cup of tea. So
No. Yeah.
I haven't watched it.
All right, this one, however, I don't know if you'll guess it, but it's a good one. All right, number 6, Teenage Wasteland.
Oh, I've heard this one too. I can only think of the song from the Who.
The Who?
Yeah. Give me a second.
When was that one popular?
Wasteland.
The Who. When did that song come out?
Probably 70s, I would think.
Right?
So, show would probably be in the 70s then.
Yeah.
What? Happy Days.
That 70s show.
Oh, that 70s show!
I was like trying not to laugh here. I'm like, oh man.
It's a TV show that was in the 70s.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That one actually could have worked. They could have just used the Who song. You know? I don't know.
I wonder if maybe that was their plan, but they just didn't get permission.
I was reading like an article. It was about where they are now and what they're up to. And Ashton Kutcher and Hyde, I don't even know the actor's name, because they're doing the ranches now. Yeah. And what's Eric's girlfriend? What was her name?
Mila Kunis?
No. That was Ashton Kutcher's.
Oh.
And Hyde, like they both dated her. Although she, okay, I think we talked about this before, that when she first got the role, she was only 14.
Yeah, she lied about her age.
Well, they said, "Are you 18?" And she's like, "Well, I'll be 18 on my 18th birthday."
Yeah.
And like,
okay. Great, kid, you're hired.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, but that one girl, Eric's girlfriend, she's like in Orange Is the New Black. That's what she's doing.
The redhead chick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually a lot of people on that show that went to do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Topher Grace, Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis.
So who's the biggest star out of the bunch?
Currently, I would say Mila Kunis.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because of that, what's the mom show that she was in?
Well, that, plus she's on Family Guy and,
I think Ashton Kutcher's up there. And
That's
that one
true.
kid that played Eric, what's his name? Playing Venom. And he's done a couple
Topher Grace.
He's done a couple other movies. Yeah. What was that one? As Good as It? No. He plays the boy that's dating the older guy's daughter, and he's like becomes the new boss.
What was that called? Didn't have Terrence Stamp in it?
Mm-hmm.
He was the boss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That was one of those movies I watched when I was donating plasma.
Oh, okay.
That they made us force us there to sit there and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was called though.
Okay. Number 5, Slayer.
Buffy, the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
No, I hate to say it. I have not seen one episode of that.
Really?
Not one.
Josh Whedon's early work.
I've seen many episodes of Angel, but not one of Buffy.
I've gone back and I've watched the movie, and I actually like the movie better than the TV series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably like the TV series. I don't know. Just haven't
never gotten into it. Yeah. All right. Jerks.
Jerks.
This one went through it changed to a longer title.
Yeah. Jerks. It's gonna be. It's gonna be. It's gonna be a
Patty's
TV show.
Pub?
Patty's Pub.
Uh huh.
It's gonna be a TV show. People aren't very
nice.
They're kind of rude.
Yeah. Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. Oh, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's just kind of funny that it went through that like long of a change, and they didn't really go break it down, reasoning for it. They just, yeah.
I was actually going to say Cheers, but...
Oh, yeah. All right. Family Guy.
I know it's not Family Guy.
Right. This one might surprise you a little bit. It's an HBO show.
The Sopranos.
Yeah. Yeah. This one went through quite a few different changes before its final decision. Did you watch the entire series of The Sopranos?
Nope.
Where it just ended abruptly?
Yeah, I know about I've seen the ending, but no, I never watched it.
I've only seen the Family Guy episode where they kind of like poke fun at it.
Yeah.
Number 2, Nowhere.
Oh, geez, that could be anything.
The characters were always pretty lost in this TV show.
Pretty lost? Is it a recent show?
2004.
Oh, Lost. The TV show Lost. Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to give some hints here. All right. Lenny, Penny, and Kenny.
This is the last one?
Yep. Number 1.
Big Bang. Big
Yep.
Bang Theory. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was going to be called. Lenny, Penny, and Kenny.
Yeah, I still wouldn't watch it, even if it was called that. See, now this is the kind of stuff, and the reason I knew some of those is because that's the kind of stuff that sticks in my brain and never leaves.
These random facts?
Yeah. Like, I'm not entirely sure how old my dad is, but this kind of crap never leaves my brain. Like, I couldn't tell you, like, the ages of my family members or, you know, when their birthdays are. I have no clue.
Yeah.
But that stuff...
For some reason.
The original title of The Sopranos was actually Family Guy. Did you know that?
Yeah. Well, if you didn't know this, these would be kind of interesting facts to, like, you know, tell others.
Yeah, these are dinner party facts.
Which, speaking of which, I actually watched your latest 10 facts, and it was really pretty interesting. I found a lot.
Patrick Stewart?
Patrick Stewart, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, like, all those different things about him.
Yeah. Yeah, he was an interesting one to do. Which you can go find on YouTube, by the way. Just search Celebrity 10s with the letter 10, E-N-S.
After that, plug.
Yeah.
How about we take a commercial break?
Yeah, let's take a break. When we come back, we're talking, let's see, we got Bond, we got Disney, we
Hunger
got
Games,
Obi-Wan, King Kong, Punisher,
we got it all.
All types of stuff. So we'll be back right after this.
Are you feeling nostalgic about your music listening needs?
Do you like the tonal quality that only a record can provide?
Then go check out Lavender Vinyl, located at 123 25th Street, Ogden, Utah.
Yeah, go talk to Kylie or Blake. They have a large selection of new and used records. They will also buy your old records, maybe the ones that are just sitting up there in the attic, gathering dust. And if you can't find anything, they'll be more than happy to pre-order it for you. Now, you can always find them at lavendervinyl@gmail.com. You can also check out their website, lavendervinyl.com, or give them a call on the phone, like a normal person, at 385-240-0336.
Be sure to tell them that World War G sent you. Now back to the episode.
And we're back.
We're all big fans of James Bond.
Indeed.
And it is finally made known that after much rumors and speculation, Daniel Craig has confirmed he will return to play Bond once more. During an appearance on The Tonight Show with Stephen Colbert Tuesday night, Colbert commented that the actor had been cagey about whether or not he would reprise his role. In response, Craig said, "I've been rather coy, but I kind of feel like if I should speak the truth, I should speak the truth to you." Colbert replied, well, we could use some good news here. Daniel Craig, will you return as James Bond? The British actor replied simply yes to cheers from the crowd. Craig has appeared in, let's see. Craig apparently had been a bit change-hearted when asked in 2015 whether he would play Bond again. He replied, "Now, I'd rather slash my wrists. No, not at the moment. Not at all. That's fine. I'm over that moment. We're done. All I want to do is move on." It'll be his fourth appearance as Bond. So he's done Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and now this one. Which I thought, like, Spectre was kind of the last... I mean, it was all culminating and leading up to that.
See, that's what I thought, too.
Right, so I don't know as far as direction they're going to go and if they're going to lead into setting it up for another actor to take his place. Or
I don't know.
Him going out with a bang. It is the 25th in the franchise, and then it's scheduled for November 8th, 2019.
It's always in November.
Yeah.
Every James Bond film has been in November. At least the one as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
So has he been Bond more than any other actor?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Pierce Brosnan. He's only done a couple. Well,
Well, now I gotta Google it.
Right?
Sean Connery. He played James Bond in Dr. No. That's one. Russia with Love. Goldfinger. Thunderball. You Only Live Twice. Diamonds Are Forever. Never Say Never Again.
Dang.
So 7.
Yeah.
George Lazenby played James Bond in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. That's it. Roger Moore, Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, and A View to a Kill. So that's 7 for him, too.
Dang.
Timothy,
come on, Daniel. You've got 2 more
I
films.
know. Timothy Dalton, The Living Daylights, License to Kill. So he did 2. Pierce Brosnan, Goldeneye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, Die Another Day.
And Pierce Brosnan's kind of like... Him and Daniel Craig are the James Bonds for me.
Yeah, me too.
You know, growing up at least.
And then we go to Daniel Craig with ones we mentioned before. So,
wow,
there you go.
And that's what's so cool about the character James Bond is it's just, I mean, it's individual, like that takes on the persona and takes on the name James Bond as well as the agent number.
That is the theory, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be true, right?
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense to me.
So it makes you wonder, all these other agents, you think they'll ever do like a spin-off? I mean, I know that 007 is their bread and butter, but they could have like 0010, or something. 003.
If they do, I think the only way they can do it is kind of a passing of the torch type of a thing. Mm-hmm. Like if they didn't want to do James Bond anymore, but instead they did like, Joe Miller,
right?
0010 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would have to be done with James Bond completely before they did that.
Like he'd have to be one of the characters, and perhaps like be mentioned at least.
Yeah.
Before they pass the torch or go a different direction. That would be kind of interesting. I don't think they will, because
I don't think so either.
He's kind of a staple. And I'm trying to think, has there really ever been another kind of character like Bond that we've seen so many movies from? I mean, you've got like Mission Impossible. Yeah, they had quite a few installments, but
the only one I can think of that's like changed actors is like Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the Batman movies have been going since 89.
Yeah.
Or, 66 if you count Adam West in that movie. But, yeah, and just like James Bond, people go, well, my Batman is, Michael Keaton, or my Batman is Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Or my Batman is George Clooney if
Christian
you're a psychopath.
If you have no taste.
Yeah.
Like if your taste is all in your mouth.
So yeah, I think that's the only.
So who is your
character.
Batman and who is your Bond?
My Bond. You know, I grew up loving the Pierce Brosnan movies. I really enjoyed them.
But you go back and watch them now, and they're so dang campy. Especially like when he's riding with his car and the gadgets. Yeah,
I would say Daniel Craig.
Same here.
Because I think Daniel Craig, having read several Bond novels, is the closest
adaptation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as far as Batman goes, I think I gotta say Kevin Conroy.
Done. Yeah.
That is my Batman.
He's got the voice.
I almost said Michael Keaton, but then I saw that little figure right there.
Like,
like, oh wait, no. He's been in a Batman movie that was released in theaters. It counts.
It does.
Kevin Conroy, who we've met, and he's a very nice guy.
He was, yeah.
Okay. Here's a big story that happened, I think it was last week, that was all over. Disney pulling films from Netflix, plans own streaming service. Disney had decided to enter the streaming service game with plans to launch its own branded service in 2019. In light of this decision, the studio will pull its catalog of feature films from Netflix. Nevertheless, according to a statement Disney CEO Bob Iger made to CNBC, Disney had a, quote, good relationship with Netflix. Disney will also look to make a significant investment in original movies and series that will only be available on the platform. To power this new venture, Disney bought a 33% stake in BAM Tech for $1.58 billion.
Jeez.
Bam! This is what they said. This represents a big strategic shift for the company, Iger said. We felt that having control of a platform we've been very impressed with after buying 33% of it a year ago would give us control of our destiny. According to the report...
Control of our destiny as if they're not like... they don't have the
they're
money.
in control of all of our destinies.
Yeah.
We all work for Disney, I'm pretty sure, in some way or another.
That's like that, you know, that game that you play where it's like 7 steps to get to one actor or one actress to another.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
Yeah.
The same can be said.
6 degrees of Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More or less.
I could probably get there. So according to the report, Marvel's slate of TV shows will remain on Netflix.
Oh, phew. All right. I was concerned there for a minute.
Well, people are wondering.
Well, same. Yeah. No, for sure. I feel like they have enough material to be able to fill the kids section of a streaming industry.
Yes.
But as far as new materials, I know Disney has done like a lot to get away from that kid friendly logo, I guess. But still,
when you think of live action Disney TV shows, it's not good.
No.
It's really not good. Netflix current stock of Disney movies includes Marvel films such as Captain America Civil War and Doctor Strange. The current deal between both companies sees films arriving on Netflix roughly 8 months after the theatrical release, though this will conclude at the end of 2018. This follows on the heels of yesterday's announcement that Netflix has bought the comic book imprint Miller World, founded by writer Mark Miller. With plans to develop the properties for film and television, Miller World will continue to publish new stories under the Netflix banner.
Man. See, I just don't think it sounds as cool to say to a girl, hey, you want a Disney and chill?
Yeah.
Watch some D before you get...
That's some... that's illusions of pedophilia right there that I don't want to...
Yeah.
I don't want to tug at, so to speak.
But oh, man. Okay. I'm only going to ever purchase... I can't see myself... There's so many different streaming things that they've got going on.
Yeah.
And I could only ever see myself maybe paying for 2 of them. Not that you can't like find them, under a tree somewhere online. But I can't see me ever doing that because the only other one that I'm kind of interested in is HBO because I like some of their stuff and documentaries that they do.
Sure.
But Disney?
Here's what I foresee happening if I'm gazing into my crystal ball here.
Yeah.
People like HBO and CBS are already doing like their own like apps and stuff to watch their shows.
Mm-hmm.
Now that Disney's doing this, I think you will see more and more networks doing the same thing and pulling their slate of stuff off Netflix to do their own streaming service. And they're going to keep doing that until eventually
Netflix dissolves?
Maybe. Or you're going to have to go, if you want to watch your shows, you're going to have to go and, buy a subscription to all of these different streaming services, which would be ridiculous.
Right. They couldn't just do it where all of them you can buy, like pick and choose between 5 of them on a platform.
Well, and that would have to come down to an agreement with like the studios and stuff like that. It's like,
which is it's kind of dumb because they already kind of technically have that through Netflix.
Yeah. Right?
So it's just changing it from being like Netflix to doing their own thing to eventually coming back together. Yeah. I don't know.
And I understand why Disney is doing this because they're greedy and they want everything.
Yeah.
Everything. But I think it would be a bad idea for other studios to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also, I don't know. I don't foresee it doing quite so well as I think. And I think it's also kind of strange that Disney only bought 33% of BAM and not just the whole thing.
That is interesting. Yeah.
They're like, we're going to be partners with you guys and not even own majority.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yet, anyway.
Right? Yeah.
All right. There may be more Hunger Games and Twilight on the way.
Oh, man.
Yay.
Yay.
Lionsgate is looking to add to their Twilight and Hunger Games franchises. Variety reports that Lionsgate CEO John Feltheimer hopes to launch, quote, fresh installments and or spin-offs for both franchises, but only if creators Stephanie Meyer and Suzanne Collins okay the projects. During a quarterly earnings call on Tuesday, Feltheimer explained, "There are a lot more stories to be told, and we're ready to tell them when our creators are ready to tell those stories." The news comes after Lionsgate decided to take their most recent young adult franchise, the Divergent series, from the big screen to the small screen. It's a good idea because nobody was watching those movies.
Well, it's not a good idea because they've got a completely new cast. They didn't, none of the celebrities that were in those ones decided to do it.
Starz is expected to conclude the film franchise's story as a television series. Interestingly, though, the company hopes also to launch several television spin-offs for that series, although it's currently unknown just what characters any future projects could focus on and if author Veronica Roth has given the okay to move forward with such projects. As for the Hunger Games and Twilight, which began at Summit Entertainment before the Lionsgate merger, it's easy to see why Lionsgate would want to dive back into those properties. Both franchises were at the center of the YA boom when they hit theaters, leaving fans hungry for more with each new installment. In the case of Twilight, the first film was made for a meager $37 million and went on to launch a $3 billion franchise.
Oh, geez.
Lionsgate quickly followed it up with the launch of The Hunger Games, a franchise that managed to earn nearly $3 billion at the worldwide box office.
It kind of reminds me a little bit on a smaller scale, like what J.K. Rowling is attempting to do. Right?
Like with Fantastic Beasts and that sort. Yeah.
That they want, like, I get that there's probably fans still out there that would want more to like explore different avenues, but I think you'll get kind of like what happened with the Twilight effect is you'll have that initial boom and then it'll taper off.
It'll fizzle out.
Yeah.
Well, don't you want to know what PETA was doing during the Hunger Games?
No.
We all want to know. I know I sure do. What about Katniss's dad? Whatever happened to him? I just don't see. One, I don't see viable characters to hold stories to continue, and two, I don't see a viable audience for it.
Right, because the audience is already passed. They're no longer YA.
Yeah.
Right?
And, I mean, those stories have been told. You know, I think it's time to move on. Where in a case like Harry Potter, I think the difference between that and the others was that J.K. Rowling created such a vast universe and world that there are so many interesting and intriguing characters that could hold their own movies.
Right.
Like, I'm waiting, personally, for a...
Dobby.
Yeah. I want a house elf movie. No, I'm waiting for a movie that explores the origins of, Gryffindor and Slytherin and Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff. Those four wizards getting together and building Hogwarts and that whole thing. I'm waiting for that movie because I think that'd be cool.
That would be pretty cool. Like, because they had to, even though they had their different tendencies and their different strengths, they all had to eventually come together, which would be really pretty difficult to see, Slytherin getting its own house if he didn't do something notable.
Yeah. Like, it could be the fall of Salazar Slytherin, kind of his fall into the dark side.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting.
And the reason that he, Hogwarts is kind of set up the way it is.
Yeah.
Man, now I want to see that movie.
Yeah, right?
What the heck?
It's kind of stuff I think about.
Yeah.
All right, let's take another break. And when we come back, we're talking Obi-Wan and Walking Dead and
King Kong.
Yeah, a few other things. So we'll be back right after this. On the historic streets of Ogden, there are two kinds of people, readers and non-readers. Here's where you can find their stories.
Booked on 25th Street, located at 147 Historic 25th Street, Ogden, Utah, 84401.
Yeah, stop by and say hi to our friend Marcy. You can pick up a new or used book, or you can sell your own used books.
That's right, you can get 10% store credit on what they can sell the book for.
Stop in and say hi, or call them at 801-529-7720. You can find them on Facebook at facebook.com/bookedon25th, or you can email them at marcy@bookedon25th.com, or visit their website, bookedon25th.com.
Be sure to tell them that World War G sent you. Now back to the episode.
And we're back.
Star Wars. Need I say more?
Next story.
Right? Sources have told Hollywood Reporter that an Obi-Wan film project currently has no script, no star attached to it, but Bill Elliott and director Stephen Daldry reported in early talks to helm a film if he signs on. According to THR, he would oversee the development and the script of the film, The Hollywood Reporter mentions that Lucasfilms is continuing to reportedly look into developing a Yoda Boba Fett film, among other spin-offs. It doesn't say when it's projected either. So this is all speculation. I love how like some of these stories that we come across, like you think it's going to be more than what it is, because they're like, hey, we don't have we don't have a script, we don't have we don't have an actor or but we do have somebody, like they're in early talks.
What we have is an idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although I still, all the other ones I could see. Obi-Wan, there's a lot more, to his character.
Yes.
As well as like Boba Fett. That's what I'd like to see. But a Yoda?
We don't need it.
We don't.
We don't need a Yoda movie.
Just because of some of the like pictures that I've seen of how he looks like Yoda with dreads.
Yeah.
Or
I don't want to see a young Yoda.
No.
I don't want to know his origin. It's not interesting to me.
Yeah. Are there any other characters that you'd like to see more of a backstory? I know we're going to get for sure. We've already,
Salacious Crumb.
Oh yeah.
A little creature in Jabba the Hutt's palace.
Some little Wookiees or something.
Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, you said they're already doing.
They'd have to be the second tier characters that still are relevant and have some more story to be told.
Palpatine could be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had a movie yet where it's just strictly Sith.
That's true.
So that could be interesting.
You don't think I think they're going to dive into that a little bit more with this newest, film coming out.
Maybe.
Perhaps. It looks like that.
And speaking of that, even a Darth Maul origin story would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I've read a few books with him too, and he's got quite an interesting past. And he could bring back Ray Park.
Yeah, to reprise his role. Yeah. Oh, man, that would be so awesome.
Another guy that we've met.
Yeah. He is way cool.
That conversation we had with him was funny. Mm-hmm. Because he he didn't let us record or anything, but he let us talk to him.
Yeah. And
we talked to him for a while. Much so they just kind of started like putting out his hand to shake our hands and basically say, okay, go away now.
Yeah. Well, no, and that, and also I thought it was kind of interesting because I talked to him again where he was saying that he got one when he was doing G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
That's where he got that band from.
Yeah.
And he's taken a lot of his martial art styles from different, like, masters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's an interesting dude.
I did like that when he was actually up on stage where he brought all those kids up there to kind of, like teach them some fighting stances and some different moves. It's very, like, there's a lot of other people that you'd meet that just kind of like, I'm here, I'm just like getting paid, just where's my money, and I just want to leave.
Jansen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not him. He actually seemed to really care about the fans and that they like, because when he first appeared on the big screen, like, I know the movies are horrible, but he was like the one saving, redeeming grace about that,
Yes. If there's one thing to be said about the Phantom Menace is that Darth Maul was freaking cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So The Walking Dead is having some troubles with AMC. The Walking Dead TV series executive producers are suing AMC, which could result in $1 billion in damages. The show's creator, Frank Darabont, already has his own lawsuit with the acclaimed network, which has been gestating since 2013, 2 years after the showrunner was suddenly fired from the series midway through the second season. Among Darabont's claims was that AMC had denied him the CAA, or Creative Right Artists Agency, promised profits from the show's incredible success. In addition to obtaining the highest total viewership of any cable series in television history, The Walking Dead continues to be the highest rated show on TV. Darabont and the CAA complained specifically about AMC using vertical integration to circumvent paying out what the series producers were owed per their contracts. The former showrunner's lawyer recently stated that they were looking at $280 million in damages from AMC, which the lawyers recently stated. I couldn't reread the same line. Which the network has said they will defend themselves against. Should the case go to trial, it will take place sometime in 2018. However, it appears that matters have now become increasingly more complex. THR reports. THR reports that The Walking Dead comic book creator and TV series co-creator Robert Kirkman has joined executive producers Gail Ann Hurd, David Alpert, and Glenn Mazzara in suing AMC for the same reasons that Darabont had years ago.
They're taking sides and forming alliances.
Mm-hmm. Here's an excerpt from the complaint, which was filed in the Los Angeles Superior Court today. And this is kind of legal speak, so be warned. The case arises from a major entertainment conglomerate's failure to honor its contractual obligations to the creative people, the talent in the industry jargon, behind the widely successful and hugely profitable long-running television series The Walking Dead. The defendant, AMC entities exploited their vertically integrated corporate structure to combine both the production and the exhibition of The Walking Dead.
See, this is why you need like a lawyer to understand lawyer talk.
Yeah, which allowed AMC to keep the lion's share of the series' enormous profits for itself and not share it with the plaintiffs as required by their contracts.
I say they settle it like men.
They duel it down.
To the death.
The lawsuit contends that AMC has engaged in infamous Hollywood accounting methods similar to Darabont's claim from 2013. The producers are challenging how much money the network pays in its house studio, AMC Studios, to air the series that they develop and produce. The Hollywood Reporter reports that AMC was paying an imputed fee of $1.45 million per episode during The Walking Dead's first 4 seasons. That number has since gone up to $2.4 million per episode.
Jeez.
But it's still significantly less than other shows, namely Better Call Saul, which is produced by Sony Pictures TV, who's paid a substantially higher licensing fee. Yeah, and then it goes.
It's kind of a money grab here. I don't foresee this going to trial. I'm pretty sure they can settle it outside, with money.
With money, yeah.
You think this is going to affect the series at all?
It might. If things turn really bad.
Yeah.
And people start walking away from the show, it might end the show.
Like, quit walking away from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I don't understand crap like this. AMC has a bunch of money.
Right.
Just pay the people what they're owed.
Right.
That's all you got to do. Just follow through with your obligations in the contract, pay them what they're owed. You have the money.
Did they, once they saw the success of it, did they not think that, oh, hey, all the shady stuff that we did behind, like in their contracts might come back to bite us?
Or they were big and arrogant enough to think that nobody would find out.
Right.
Yeah. All right. This one caught my attention, this story, because it involves a fantastic YouTube channel that I've watched every episode of, and that's Cinemasins. Kong, Skull Island director, explains why Cinemasins isn't good satire. Now, all this stemmed from Cinemasins. If you don't know what it is, they go through
and nitpick the movie, and break it down, and say what their egregious sin, what they've done,
the stuff that doesn't really add up or make sense, or continuity errors or mistakes or stuff like that.
Which every movie has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of it. And so the Kong Skull Island director saw the one that they recently did on his movie, and he went
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So this is the story. Kong Skull Island director Jordan Vogt Roberts has elaborated on his takedown of Cinemasins, explaining why he feels the YouTube channel is not satire, which I would disagree with. Earlier this week, the filmmaker fired back at Cinemasins' Everything Wrong with Kong Skull Island video, pointing out several mistakes that were made. In a Twitter thread, which is where all the news is now, Vogt Roberts insinuated the makers of Cinemasins videos barely pay attention to the movies they target, as many of their perceived flaws are easily explained through context or filmmaking technique. As one might expect, Vogt Roberts' comments caused a stir online, launching an interesting debate about whether or not Cinemasins is good for film criticism. In the wake of the mini-controversy, people have defended the channel by saying their content is not meant to be taken overly seriously, and I would agree.
Yeah.
And is instead constructed as comedy or satire. That may be true in some cases, but Vogt Roberts isn't buying it. Looking to put a bow on the whole situation, he's offered an a very detailed analysis of Cinemasins and why he doesn't consider their videos to be funny. Once again, taking to Twitter, Vogt Roberts posted a lengthy thread where he explained upon his earlier points and used examples from Cinemasins' video on Rian Johnson's Looper, which is considerably shorter than the ones they put out today, to illustrate his feelings.
Okay, really quickly, though, one of his biggest complaints with Cinemasins is that they didn't really truly watch his film, right? Or give it a fair analysis. So you think that he's actually watched every video that they've made?
You mean the guys at Cinemasins?
No, I'm talking about this director. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because then he's like saying, "Oh, I'm going to use examples from other ones that you guys have done,
right?
Examples that might fit his case or his points,
right?
Rather than actually looking at all of them and realizing, oh wait, it is satire. It's just kind of to be a spoof on these things."
Yeah.
And if anything, this is just publicity for your movie, right? Because people will watch it and be like, "Wait, there was that in it? Oh, okay, I want to watch it."
Yeah.
Rise above it, dude.
Yeah, this is what it goes on. Vogt Roberts begins by arguing Cinemasins' video offer little in the way of value, especially now that they frequently run in excess of 18 minutes. The original ones were about 3. That's because they became more popular. And are negative for the sake of being negative. He makes comparisons between Sins and Honest Trailers and Red Letter Media's infamous review of The Phantom Menace, saying he believes the latter two are satire/criticism because they both offer up a point of view unique to their brand that can, quote, hold up under scrutiny, and they didn't do any of his films, so he's okay with them.
Yeah.
Vogt Roberts' main issue with Cinemasins is that they simply list flaws with the movie in a seemingly factual way that are sometimes baseless and exclusively mean-spirited. The director does admit...
they hurt my feelbads.
Yeah, that's what it's boiling down to.
Yeah.
The director does admit that there are times when Cinemasins works well when they aren't talking about his movie. But they're rendered null by everything else. To show his problems with the channel's approach go beyond their... with the channel's approach go beyond their critique of his film, Vogt Roberts took several screenshots from the aforementioned Looper video and pointed out how they're not valid criticisms.
Think this will affect Vogt Roberts with getting another directing movie? No?
That's the thing. It's a stupid YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You know, and it's supposed to be entertaining and funny. You know, and I doubt he ever paid attention to Cinemasins until they tore his movie apart.
Right.
And that doesn't... And I like Kong Skull Island.
Same here.
It's a good movie.
Right.
It's entertaining. And it's also entertaining to point out, when Cinemasins point out things that, you know, you didn't see before.
Right.
Like, oh, you know, that's funny. That makes sense. You know, yeah, that doesn't really add up, you know, stuff like that. But bottom line is, it's a stupid YouTube channel,
Right.
that really shouldn't be taken seriously, like they
Yeah.
were saying.
I don't really think it's going to affect either one of them that much.
No, it's not. This whole thing is stupid
Mm-hmm.
and completely baseless.
I would actually consider, like all these other parodies that Weird Al has done for songs or other people have done for other movies, you take that kind of with a grain of salt, but also realize, oh, wow, they liked my work enough that they actually did something, they made a video or they made like a parody or they did something,
Yeah.
I wouldn't care. I would think that was kind of cool that you're big enough that they actually are talking about you.
Yeah. And the thing with saying that they don't watch all the movies, that's not correct.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who does it, his name is Jeremy, he does. He sits there and watches the entire film.
Oh, he has to. Like,
Yeah.
how is he going to pick out all these little things?
Exactly.
He's probably got a whole team that does this with him.
And he even says, or he has a video on the channel that's everything wrong with Cinemasins.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things is that a lot of the films they talk about
Mm-hmm.
and take apart are some of their favorite movies, and it's just comedy. It's just funny,
Right.
That's the thing. It's like somebody being offended by a stand-up comedian. It's the same thing
Mm-hmm.
because they talked about, cancer or something, and you knew someone once had cancer and it's not funny and blah, 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 blah.
That, and it also reminds me a little bit of the same argument that people had with Rotten Tomatoes. Where is this really good for the film industry or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's just one person's opinion.
Yes.
That happens to be on a YouTube channel where he makes a video
Yeah.
that people watch. If anything, I'd be interested to see how many subscribers he has now. I mean, after this breaks, to how many he has after.
And I'll be surprised to see if he brings this up in one of the videos.
Mm-hmm. That would be
I'll
hilarious.
be surprised if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Throw in a disclaimer where he's like, "This is just satire."
Yeah.
Like, for those that are thinking,
Yeah. This is just comedy.
take it with a grain of salt.
Yes. All right. Punisher.
Yes. Did you did get a chance to watch this trailer, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So teaser trailer. It looks dark and violent
And awesome.
and awesome.
My one criticism, I guess, is it reminds me a little bit too much of Arrow, where there's a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah.
And I would worry that it would get bogged down by flashbacks of his military background.
Yeah.
And lose sight of him actually taking, punishing bad people.
Well, they're going to do that. They're going to dive into his origin. They're going to...
Oh, they have to.
Yeah.
That's where, like, all the, some of the backstory is.
Yeah.
And you can't see them not, but at the same time, I hope that they don't get too bogged down like Arrow did.
Like, listen, the origin's fine, and you can tell it, but what we want to see is him with that skull and a trench coat blowing people away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's what the Punisher is. That's what we want to see.
So then where would you go from that? Okay, so you've got a couple of episodes where it's the origin, and then he eventually gets up to present day. And, I mean, after you've also seen, like, what happens to his family. And then you get present day of him killing people. Where do you go from that? Do you eventually tie it into Daredevil? Or do you just kind of keep it standalone? This is before.
I don't
Because,
know.
I mean, it could get... That's the problem, is it could get kind of boring if he... Yeah, I want to see him, like, take down, like, a lot of the, like, criminals and stuff, but I guess he would have to have some sort of, like, mob boss that he has to find his way to.
Yeah.
And take out all these other little crime syndicates first.
Yeah. The thing with Punisher, what I think they would have to do, is you have to have an overarching... theme or some sort of constant throughout the entire series. Otherwise, it's just him gunning people down.
Right.
You have to have some sort of
invested interest.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Or some sort of plot device or some reason that he's doing these things, and that's where it's going to get tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I'm glad I'm not a TV writer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And you can find that. I mean, it's on YouTube. You can go check it out.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. All right. Let's take our last break. And we come back. We got reviews of stuff we've seen.
Yes.
And so we'll talk about those right after this.
Thanks, Joy. Hi, everybody. This is Sean Ray.
And John Irons.
And we're the hosts of Cosmic Potato, the Super Fan Talk podcast. We're a show that has a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we talk about movies and TV and cartoons, entertainment news, and every show has a different theme.
That's right. We might discuss anything from our favorite bad movies to who would win in a fight between C-3PO and the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. That was episode 41, a classic. You can download that episode and all of our other episodes on iTunes and Stitcher. We're on Podcast Addict and, of course, on our website, cosmicpotato.com.
It's special guests and movie news and geeky nerddom and nerdy geekery and lightsabers and Time Lords and Ninja Turtles all the way down. So check out Cosmic Potato, the Super Fan Talk podcast.
And we're back. Okay, so I've watched a few things this week.
With your new position out at your second job.
Yes. I took advantage of that.
Yeah.
And I went and watched Dunkirk. This is Christopher Nolan's newest film. It takes place during World War II. Yeah. And it is the battle, I learned, it is the battle that basically turned the tide for World War II. It's the story of these, how many did they say? Several 100,000 or so men that were trapped on this beach. Because they couldn't go anywhere, because on one side was the water, on the other side was the German troops. So they were stuck. And had the Germans, and I learned this by doing some little research, had the Germans taken that beach, they could have taken probably the rest of Britain.
Yeah.
And the rest of Europe, and maybe even won the war.
There was a lot of actually these kind of moments that had they done this, or had Hitler not been drugged out one day,
yeah,
and there's just all these different period, I don't know. I'm thinking there was definitely a lot of divine intervention involved in some of these things, but it is kind of interesting.
Yeah. So it's a story of trying to get these guys off the beach. Now, the problem was they couldn't really sacrifice warships to come grab them because they were other places.
Yeah.
So a lot of them started thinking, well, I guess this is going to be it,
Oh, yeah.
And for a lot of them it was. Because even out in the ocean, even if they got on the ships, there are U-boats out there, German U-boats. There's subs. There's, ways to take them down on both sides. So what ended up happening, and this is what kind of rallied Europe to the cause, is that a bunch of local fishermen who own boats took their own boats and went out there and grabbed the soldiers and evacuated them.
Yeah.
And so from that, that kind of rallied the people, and the rest is literally history. It's really good.
It is kind of a different take on it because it's kind of following a lot of different stories, and then they eventually intertwine, and it all kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because it's telling the story from the ground and the sea and the air.
Mm-hmm.
So from the air, you got Tom Hardy, who plays this pilot that is starting to, trying to take down these German planes, and he plays a pretty integral part. On the land, you got these 4 soldiers who are trying to survive, who are trying to, get off this beach. And from the sea, you got this small boat, with these
fishermen.
Yeah, local fishermen, and their story of heading out there to go get these soldiers. And it takes place, in different time periods, during, separated by hours and days, but it all ties together and it all makes sense. If you're looking for a lot of talk, a lot of explanation of what's going on, you're not going to get it. Mm-hmm. There's actually not a whole lot of dialogue
at all.
There's a lot of action. It does not let up from minute 1 to end. It does not let up. It is just war the entire time. So you're, be prepared to be pretty exhausted after the film is done.
You're like, I just went to war.
Yeah.
I went to hell and back.
Yeah, I sat in a theater for 3 hours. That's the same. Yes.
Oh, no, the running length is only 2 hours, isn't it? But it felt like
it's close.
Felt like days.
It's close to 3, I think. It felt like a freaking long movie, but it's really good. Everybody gives really exceptional performances. There's some really tense scenes. Like I said, you got Tom Hardy, you got Mark Rylance, you got Harry Styles from One Direction. Even he's good.
It's sitting at 93 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That makes sense. You got Kenneth Branagh. He's in this. But the stars of the show really are kind of unknowns. I've never heard of them before. I've never seen them before.
The kid that plays Tommy?
Yeah.
Collins, some of these other guys, yeah.
Yeah, never heard of them before. But they're all excellent. And that's, Christopher Nolan is known for really being able to build suspense, to build up, the suspense of the scene. You really feel what these guys are feeling at the time.
Well, it's got to be like a difficult... you're basically thinking, this is it. This is the end. We're going to have to make a last stand, and we're just going to die on this beach. We're not going to make it out. And you want to be brave in those type of moments.
Yeah, you do.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time,
you see how these soldiers, some of them, there was one guy that just walked into the ocean, and that was it for him. He didn't want to be there anymore, so he basically drowned himself. And how bleak and desperate their situation was, and how, you understand why people come back from war completely changed.
Mm-hmm. That PTSD.
Yeah, because of how brutal it is. And the film shows it really just fantastically. Yeah, I highly recommend you go out and see it. Mentally prepare before you go. Know what you're getting into.
Do some calisthenics. Do some exercises.
Yeah. But it's definitely worth a watch. And out of 5, let me think. Out of 5, let's just go with biplanes. How about that? Just out of 5. Out of 5 planes. I would give it probably 3. Yeah. I'd give it 3.
All right.
It's, like I said, it's worth a watch. I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Yeah.
It's not one I'm going to rush out and buy, but it was enjoyable, as much as a war movie can be. And, it's definitely worth a look.
Although you will probably watch the YouTube video when they do a Cinemasins of it, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course I will. And I'll be outraged. How dare they? right.
In a lighter note,
Yeah.
Ducktales.
Ducktales.
That's like a 180.
From Dunkirk to Ducktales. Okay. So, in this world of reboots and reimagining of things and diving back into the well of something that already happened 20 years ago, we get a reboot of DuckTales.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about this before on the podcast.
Yes, we have.
As far as casting goes, but
and
execution,
it's really good.
Yeah.
It's if you've seen here's the animation style. If you've seen the new Disney shorts that are on YouTube, like Mickey shorts, it's that same kind of animation.
Oh, okay.
It's also a little irreverent, like those short videos are. It's the jokes are really that's a good way to put it.
Clever?
They're very. It's a dry humor.
Okay.
But it works. You got Scrooge McDuck, who has been out of the adventuring game for a while. And what happens is Donald Duck drops off his nephews to Scrooge because he has a job interview.
Yeah.
With Glumgold, the other billionaire Scottish duck in town.
Dun, dun, dun.
And so what ends up happening is, while Huey, Dewey, and Louie are at Scrooge's place, they end up finding Webigail, who is kind of a fangirl of the Scrooge McDuck family. She's researched the family. She knows who Huey, Louie, and Dewey is. She knows who Donald is.
Yeah.
Because Scrooge was this major, explorer, adventurer back in his day, and he's famous. He's well known.
Right.
And then, so what ends up happening is, after releasing a couple evil spirits in Scrooge's garage, that's a whole thing, they then end up going to the lost city, or trying to find the lost city of Atlantis. Trying to find the jewel of Atlantis. That's the plot of the show. And this first episode is long. It's like probably an hour.
And they're thinking the other ones are going to be like a half an hour?
Yeah.
22 minutes?
Yeah. But it sets up the story. Like I said, it's really funny. It's really well done. I enjoy the animation. A lot of people don't. I like it. The only complaint I have is I'm not a big fan of Huey, Louie, and Dewey's voices.
Really?
Yeah. I think they should be done by kids. But they're not. Same with Webigail. They're done by adults. Trying to sound like little duck boys. And it just
doesn't come across like that.
It's weird. It's weird.
But they did a good job with TMNT. I mean, I know it's not the same people, but I'm saying they're trying to sound like teenagers, right?
Yeah, but that's always been a little different, because Ninja Turtles, their voices are so they've always been a certain way, right? Like Michelangelo's always sounded like a surfer. Raphael's always sounded like a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Donatello has always, kind of been more of the soft-spoken tech nerd guy.
Right.
And Leonardo has always been kind of the
leader,
well-spoken
wise.
leader. Yeah. So it's a little different. With DuckTales, I mean, in the original cartoon, they sounded like Donald, Huey, Louie, and Dewey.
Right.
Just, obviously younger. But with these, they gave them actual coherent voices. And so it's a little...
Webigail, let us go to Atlantis.
Well, one of the guys, let me pull up the cast. One of the guys I know is from Saturday Night Live. It was Bobby Moynihan from Saturday Night Live. Okay, so David Tennant is Scrooge McDuck, which he does a really good job at.
Okay.
Danny Pudi from Community, Abed, he's Huey. Now, if you don't know, Huey is in red, Dewey is in blue, and Louie is in green. Ben Schwartz is Dewey. Bobby Moynihan is Louie. Kate McCucci is Webigail. Beck Bennett, also from Saturday Night Live, is Launchpad. Let's see. And then, Lin-Manuel Miranda's in this. I didn't know that. But anyway, so you see, it's all adults.
Yeah.
And so it comes off a little strange. That's all I'm saying. It's a little strange. I can get past it. I'm going to keep watching it.
Right.
But initially it's a little odd, especially if you know the original DuckTales cartoon and you know how they sounded, and it takes a little bit to get used to. All
This is going to be airing every week on Disney Channel?
Disney XD.
Okay.
Yep. When exactly, what day, I'm not sure, but there you go. So out of 5, ducks,
Mm-hmm.
I would give it, for the first episode, I'd give it, probably 3 as well.
Okay. Huey, Dewey, and Louie?
I'd give it a Huey, Dewey, and Louie, for sure. That kind of sounds like a sexual thing.
Like some sort of...
I gave her the old Huey, Louie, and Dewey last night.
Really quacked.
Well, he quacked her up.
If that's not your cup of tea, perhaps, if you're looking for something a little bit more, I don't know, darker, Mommy, Dead, and Dearest. We were talking about this before the episode.
Yeah.
It's about this one girl, Gypsy Rose, and her, like, how she was an intricate part of killing her mom, Dee Dee. Although at first glance, you kind of see this one girl that's got some problems and some mental issues and an overbearing mom. And then the boyfriend gets into the picture and actually kills the mom. And this is fairly recent. This is 2015. I mean, they just barely put it on HBO in 2017.
Right.
But in May. But this story is fairly recent. But once you start diving deeper into it, oh man, it's pretty dang dark. This little girl, you start to see what all the mom's doing. Like, even at birth, the mom said that she had all these different issues and that she would need a wheelchair and she can't walk, even though she can. She doesn't have hardly any of these disorders that her mom says that she has. Right. So she's like raising money for her as well, which it was weird because all these different surgeries and tests and everything that she's doing were really expensive, and so she's not really making any money, so they're not really sure. They can't really ask the mom because she's dead, but it makes you wonder what the reasoning was behind why the mom would do all this stuff.
Right.
Not only that, is you start delving deeper into Gypsy and her boyfriend, and he was pretty dang disturbed as well, like with multiple personalities. And the further and further you get into this documentary, which it's only an hour and 22 minutes, but they do a great job of just painting this picture to where you kind of feel empathy and sympathy towards her, but then at the same time you're like, no, she's talking to the camera with cuffs on, and she's in like a prison jumpsuit.
Right.
Like, she did a horrible thing, and you see all these text messages that she's sending, and they pop up. That's what they also do, is as they're talking, you kind of see these messages popping up and saying the conversation that they had back and forth, and she's just like, hey, I'll leave this back door open, I'll give you the gloves, and then you go, take my mom out.
Wow.
Yeah. And I understand that, it's difficult. I'm not exactly sure. I want to say that was pretty messed up stuff with the mom, but I don't think it justifies her having her mom killed.
No, like I was telling you before, if your mom's doing that type of crap to you, making you pretend to be crippled and everything, go to police, go to child services,
right?
There are other avenues, and eventually spending the rest of your life in prison.
Yeah, if she's able to communicate with this other kid, there's got to be a way that she could communicate with the police.
Yeah.
You know, she did have a Facebook account, which that was also kind of bizarre, is because she had posted this thing where she's just like, I killed her, you know, she's dead. Like, now we can, like, on Facebook. I'm like, geez, well, that doesn't help your case at all.
No, it does not.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty dang dark, but deep and interesting. And, you know, yeah, I would definitely. It's sitting at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's fantastic, but it really makes you think, and it's one of those stories that stays with you for a while.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
What was it about this documentary that intrigued you as opposed to others?
Okay, so I was actually originally talking to one of my friends, Ashley, and she, like, one of my coworkers, and she had recommended it, and because she listens to all these different podcasts, and, you know, I immediately said, like, hey, you should check out ours.
By
the
way, BTW.
Yeah, like, have a couple of cards with me, you know. No, but we were talking about this, and then she was saying that she listens to these other podcasts that are kind of typically more about different serial killers. And
that is a big thing right now.
Oh, it's huge, especially
the
with
murder
that, like,
podcast,
the OJ, and with all these other Netflix originals that they're showing. It is kind of really interesting to dig into their psyche and to see what was their motivation and what you would do in that type of situation. But yeah, that's kind of what I don't know. I kind of like these things as well. I would probably be sitting at, I would say, out of 5 respirators, I'm sitting at about 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. And what was it called again?
Mommy, Dead, and Dearest.
Mommy, Dead, and Dearest.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
we've got one more big thing to talk about.
Yeah. Lighten the mood up a little bit again.
Yeah.
The Defenders. Marvel and Netflix newest installment. This one you find teaming up of Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist as they come together to take down a mutual evil.
Now, I've only seen the first 2 episodes. You, on the other hand, like, what, started it in the evening and went until like 2 in the morning?
Yeah. Friday is when it came out.
Yeah.
And so I started at 7 o'clock in the evening and ended about 2 in the morning. I watched every episode.
Dang. It's been a while since I've been watching these shows, or one of them that I'm just like, I want to watch the next episode. Oh, I want to watch the next episode.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. One of the things I have to say right off the get-go from it, I liked the way that they used these second-tier characters to kind of help bring them together. And it wasn't until like the second episode that finally Iron Fist and Luke Cage even meet, which they have kind of an interesting meeting.
They do. They do. And the secondary characters actually play a bigger role as the series go on. You see them a lot.
Although I still can't stand Foggy.
You and Samuel L. Jackson, man.
Right? Well, it's just that he constantly is like, I know he's looking out for his friend, but he's just like, here, let me give you all these cases to help take your mind off of other things and to want to, like, oh, look at your fist. Like, quit judging me. Who are you? Like, I'm trying to save, Hell's Kitchen, and you're holding me back.
So here's the thing. It's only 8 episodes long, which means that they jump into the action pretty quick, and they stay there.
Yeah.
One of the issues with a lot of these series is that there's a lot of setup. They take like 3, 4, 5 episodes to set everything up before anything really happens. This one, they take an episode.
Yeah.
And then from episode 2 on, it's, balls out action. Which is why I like it. Another reason why I like it is it didn't hate it didn't make me hate Iron Fist so much. He's still my least favorite out of the 4 because he's whiny and he's not interesting.
Yeah.
He's not an interesting character. Whereas the other 3 are. They're very flawed people where he is not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you need that kind of Captain America in the group, right?
You do. But even Captain America has some interesting characteristics to him.
True.
Kind of a man out of time. But Iron Fist, he's just a rich white guy that knows kung fu. But I would rank it as far as the Marvel series goes.
Mm-hmm.
I would rank Daredevil season 1 and 2 at the top.
Right.
Luke Cage.
Okay.
Defenders. Jessica Jones. Iron Fist.
Yeah. I think my only switch would probably be, well, I guess I can't. No, let me finish it up and then get back to you on
All
it.
right.
But I see what you mean. Defenders and Luke Cage it's pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't as iconic as, say, like the Avengers coming together, but it was fun to see all these people fighting side by side.
Yeah.
There's another hallway scene. It's not as epic as they have been, but it's still pretty cool.
All right.
It's the hallway scene that brings all 4 of them together for the first time. And it was kind of...
That's what made it a little bit cooler.
Yeah. It's fun. I will say this. It's fun. And it's enjoyable, and it's entertaining, and it is violent, and there is language,
And blood.
So parents, be aware of that.
Okay, now for other people that perhaps haven't seen all of the other seasons, can they watch this as a standalone?
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
There are so many references to what happened in Luke Cage's story and what happened in Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and all that. You cannot watch this without watching the others. You would be lost.
I like how you skip over Iron Fist.
Well,
he shows up, in a helicopter.
Yeah, but seriously
That
though,
privileged kid.
you would have no idea what was going on.
Okay.
Who they were talking about. Yeah, you wouldn't have a clue.
Okay. So it is best to go back and watch these
It
ones?
is. Yep. So out of 5 Defenders, I guess.
Yeah.
Because there's 5 eventually once Stick comes along.
What?
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah.
I would give the whole series, probably 3 again.
Okay.
3's across the board. Now, each individual episode, I would give a different rating.
Right.
But overall, I would give it 3.
Okay.
So,
one episode to really look forward to?
the episode where they all come together
Which
for the first time.
Okay.
That's I think it's like episode 5, I want to say. 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's when the show really takes off. It's a little slow there at the beginning, but once they all come together, then it really
Those
hits
last
its
couple of
stride.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is this kind of their next installment is going to be Defenders, the second season, right?
I don't know. I can't remember if it was that. No, I think it's actually going to be season 3 of Daredevil.
Oh, wow.
I think.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it is. Or Punisher. I can't remember now. Or maybe Punisher comes up. I don't know.
Probably Punisher, because we haven't even seen a teaser trailer for Daredevil.
That's true. All right. Here's where you can find us. You can listen to all of our episodes at worldwarg.podbean.com. You can also find us on iTunes and the Google Play Store. Just search World War G. On the social medias, you can find us at facebook.com/World War G podcast. On Twitter and Instagram, you can find us at WWG podcast. You can find our shirts and other merchandise at shop.spreadshirt.com/World War G. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
at worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. So, this has been World War G episode 141. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends. And remember the Vulcan motto: infinite diversity in infinite combinations.